how if you remove one thing from the rainforest and the ecosystem, how the whole ecosystem crashes.
Big, muscly. It's an unregulated sport as well.
Steroids. Okay, let's not beat around the bush. Men, dating and hormones.
Favourite subject.
Men. Keep it clean. I don't know who the audience is. Welcome back to the Stronger with Scarlett podcast, and as you can see, this is the first episode actually in 3 series that I've had a guest on. So today's guest is the most obvious choice for guest number 1. It is my ultimate sister from another mister, Danielle, also my housemate actually. Long story short, Danielle and I met about 8 years ago in Thailand at a fitness camp, which we now call Fat Camp. Anyway, today's episode is all about women, weight rooms and hormones, PMS and PRs. So, Danielle, let's get into this. We're going to talk about something that I think every woman can relate to, whether that's training through your period, around your period, hormone cycles, dating, eating, sleeping, basically just how being a woman.
The stuff we talk about every day.
Yeah, like we talk about this all the time. So let's just chat about it on a microphone.
Let's go.
Because if we're dealing with it, we say this all the time, everybody else is probably dealing with it too, because we can't be the only 2 mental ones on the planet.
You might see 20 of my personalities come out today.
Okay, so we're talking about PMS in every sense of the word. So do you want to just give a quick brief overview of who you are, what you do, and your experience of PMS? 60 seconds, let's go.
Oh my God, 60 seconds. Okay, so I have actually recently moved to Dubai, as you know, with you. I work in kind of finance, fintech, so very much office-based, desk-based, not a lot of movement, which I think can really, really impact a lot of the way that I feel during my cycle as well. And I've always really struggled, as you know, with my PMS, with my period, with pain, with my hormones, and it's just been a real struggle. So my cycles are so irregular, and, you know, it's actually generally just got worse.
Generally just got worse until this year.
Yeah, shockingly.
Let's ignore this week and talk about this year, because I know this week's been a bad week. What changed this year from January until just 7 days ago?
So my periods have just been up and down. I missed about 3 or 4 periods when I came off the pill. I was on the pill from the age of like 15. So really, really young. And I only stopped about 2 years ago. Okay. So really irregular. Then I basically just kept not having periods, and then the periods that I did get would be absolutely horrific. Mm-hmm. The last couple of years of my life have been extremely stressful. Cortisol levels through the roof, even got them tested, and they were just unbelievably high. So I really needed to kind of take stock and have a look at how I could reduce that. Changed my diet, started doing meditation, started doing some yoga, which you put together for me, kept my training really, really, really consistent, every week, and worked with a gut health, specialist as well.
That's what I'm digging into, yeah.
Yeah, which really helped. So my diet changed drastically. So, you know, eating completely different foods, unprocessed foods, making sure that I'm eating something fermented, all really about gut health and variety of foods in my diet. Within 3 months, the changes in my body were absolutely unreal.
Because the research is showing that bacteria and the gut microbiome is really closely linked to the endocrine system, the hormone system, whether that's in perimenopause, menopause, or through menstruation, PCOS, endometriosis, all of it, the brain function, the body function, and the gut lining is being shown to be so, so important.
It's unbelievably telling.
Yeah.
You know, going through that. My diet's always been so up and down, and, you know, I've been through bad periods and spirals and binge eating and drinking and things like that. So obviously that would have had an impact as well. But just changing all of that, removing all of these things from my diet and adding in such a variety, simple food as well. You know, lots of different fruits and vegetables, just adding in the odd thing. And within 3 months, massive difference, even my digestive system.
Can I pause you there? So talking about your nutritional habits, obviously I've seen you over the 8 years, and we joke and laugh about the fact that we met at Fat Camp, because we were overweight. Okay. And we've worked in different ways to try and manage that, learn about nutrition. You've studied nutrition. I've studied nutrition. We both did different courses, but at the end of the day, we both learned about nutrition. What we both, I think, realised on those courses is they're so heavily focused on macros, not on micros.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're talking about macronutrients versus micronutrients. And a lot of what you see on social media talks about macronutrients, which I still don't think the general population really understands, but that's a whole nother subject. But delving deeper into the micronutrients, so removing lots of artificial sweeteners, processed food, as you said, and really helped you reduce your bloating, your water retention, and then adding in, like you said, lots of variety of micronutrients to build up that gut lining. A gut health nutritionist that you work with, that I put you in touch with, she describes your gut microbiome as being like a rainforest and an ecosystem, and how if you remove one thing from the rainforest and the ecosystem, how the whole ecosystem crashes. And we are just the same inside. And I just love that analogy. I think it really sums up the work she did with you. And obviously I watched your body from the outside change, your skin, your hair, your mood, as they were going internally, your periods. They did become a lot more regular.
Yeah, so they did. So, I mean, obviously the stress had a massive impact on a lot of it as well. But over the last 6 months, I'd say 4 to 6 months, now that I'm less in fight or flight, and I've kind of made so many changes to my life, diet, lifestyle, even moving here, and just kind of settling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had consistent periods, and it's been, you know, I can't believe I'm coming on this day. This is absolutely crazy. And obviously, apart from this week,
yeah,
it's just it feels so much better from the inside out.
Yeah. Okay, so that's food, periods, your life, stress, cortisol, how all of these things impacted your cycles. You spoke about being on birth control, contraception as well, and how coming off of that took a little bit of adjusting too. Let's talk about your training habits.
It's our face. Depends on mood I'm in that week now.
So obviously when we met at a Muay Thai camp in Thailand. I went there to do a little bit of everything, had tried a bit of the Muay Thai when we met. You had the intention of kind of doing more of the HIIT workouts and things like that. You were a cardio queen.
I was.
A HIIT workout junkie. And as much as watching my journey, like my number one handler, best friend, been at every strongman show that I've done, traveled the world with me to support me, and you've watched all these girls and these women doing this strong lifting. Did you ever believe that you could lift that strong, that heavy?
Absolutely not. I really didn't. I think,
and you are now.
Yeah,
just for the audience.
And I think it's also it's you look at it and you watch it and you're seeing that, and it's like, that's scary.
Yeah,
actually scary. And you look at the sorts of, you know, people who are involved in it.
What do you mean by that?
And I think that you are an exception.
Okay.
Is this going to be like, you know, very PC? Or something?
I don't think you need to be PC, because I think I would just want to hear it from, okay, I know we're friends and I know we've had chats off camera and off the mic. I think for the sake of the audience, the purpose of this podcast is that people can relate to the conversations. So without upsetting too many people, but without being too PC.
You're going to get mobbed.
I want you to share your opinion.
So, okay.
It's not mine, it's yours.
Let's take social media, for example. You've got all sorts of different, you look at all the different people in the different fitness industries and the different sports.
Yeah.
And you've got, you know, your Hyroxers, you've got your Fitfluencers, and there's a certain look about it.
Yeah.
And so that's what people aspire to want to be.
That's what people think a fit and healthy body looks like.
That's exactly it. And you look at that and think, oh, I want to look like that, I want to look like that. This is what I've got to do it. And then you look at, take strongman as an example, because it's a good one. And you look at the strongman community and the athletes that are there, and they're absolutely insane, but they don't have that visual look.
Yeah.
They look scary. You know, and I think because it's
not all of them.
Not all of them. You don't.
80% of them?
Yeah, I would say so. But, you know, and it's amazing.
They're not scary, by the way. I know them all, and they're actually all really lovely. But I get you.
It's a visual thing, and people will instantly, for instant gratification, I want to look like that. I don't want to look like that. So then they think that lifting heavy and doing that sort of exercise is in turn going to mean they're going to look like that.
What do you mean like that?
Big, muscly. It's an unregulated sport as well. Steroids.
Okay, let's not beat around the bush. I'm really trying not to put words in your mouth. So steroids, yeah. It's a very intimidating looking sport. People think I look intimidating when they watch me train, and I think I'm the least intimidating person on the planet. I think I'm the biggest baby going.
That's why I know you, and I'm like, what?
But yeah, it can look intimidating, as you know, completely natural, but it is an unregulated sport, and lots of the women do take steroids, and it can change their body image, and that is a very different image to the likes of High Rocks, CrossFit. Bodybuilding has different categories. Some can look intimidating and some can look really beautiful. And other sports as well. Okay, so
essentially I kind of feel like that means that when we look at lifting heavy, people don't want to look bulky, manly, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So they'll go down the other route.
Cardio.
Do the cardio. Oh, like I used to do.
Yeah. So what changed with you? Why have you gone from being a cardio queen to lifting like an absolute animal?
Because I met you. You make me do it.
I mean, we met 8 years ago. When do you think you actually made this switch? Because it wasn't 8 years ago, right?
So I used to do a lot of weights with PT and just the general gym, and I hurt my back 10 years ago. So it was deadlifting, and it just put me off. So I just continued with all of the cardio. And I would probably say it's only really been, the start of this year that I've properly started lifting weights. And that's at the age of 38.
38 years old. You've been lifting weights properly, following a structured program.
Yeah.
Delivered by one and only. Have you been consistent for the full 10 months?
No.
When did your consistency get nailed?
So I was really, really consistent for January, February. Went a little bit wrong. Things spiraled a little bit. Then I came here really, really consistent because I was here for a month with you. Went back to the UK.
Lost routine. And I think that's all it was. I didn't have a routine during this time. And that is so important for me. I love routine.
We both love routine. Take us out of it. And then I'd say since then coming back and training consistently again and then going back again, there's just been a lot going on. So no, it hasn't been consistent. However, since, when did I get here? End of June, my training has been consistent, maybe apart from 1 week where I fell off the wagon.
Okay, and that's normal because is your goal to compete as a competitive strength training athlete?
No.
Right, so if you need to have a week off because you started a new job or you had a big social event or you met a man or whatever it might be, so be it.
Disappeared.
And that's okay because you're not aiming to be a world champion athlete.
Yeah.
And it has to be sustainable with your lifestyle, which has changed enormously this year.
Massively.
So I think that takes us into, I want to touch on the men and the dating side of things with periods, PMS, hormones. But before we do that, you mentioned about having hurt yourself deadlifting before, putting the fear of God into you that deadlifting is awful. I'm never going to lift heavy. I've got a bad back. I'm going to hurt myself. Do you deadlift now?
Yes.
Okay. So you
love
deadlift
it
now. She loves it. Can I ask how much are you deadlifting?
I got PB last week of 92.5.
Amazing. And it's taken you 10 months of lifting on a consistent program, but really June, July, August, September, for like 4 to 5 months of consistent lifting to be able to reach a PB of that. And we're aiming for by the end of the year
100.
we're going to get a 100 kilo deadlift. And it looks good. It looks solid. You look strong. Touch wood. Shouldn't maybe ask the question. How's your back?
It feels so much stronger. When I get a niggle or a pain now, I don't worry. Because before I'd automatically worry that, oh my God, I've done something to it. Oh my God, I've hurt it. But I don't feel that anymore. I feel like it's strengthening week on week. Doing the 92.5 this week felt stronger than doing the 90 the week before.
Exactly. And so the stronger you build the muscles around your trunk, when we talk about core, we're not just talking about like the social media fitness look of the abs. We're talking about the whole core, the muscles between your ribs, the intercostals, your obliques, your psoas muscle that connects your pelvis into your back. Your back actually has muscles around the spine. And so the more we're building that whole trunk of you and your glutes and your hamstrings, actually you're protecting your back more than by doing nothing.
I'm also want a butt by the time I'm 40.
You want a butt by the time you're 40?
Yeah, so you've basically got a year.
I've got it. Okay. So, mission no pancake bum.
Yeah, this has always been an ongoing running thing since we met, that I have a pancake ass. And I've always wanted to have a little booty.
And we've got to lift heavy to get that.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see that change. I've said to you a couple of times now that I actually look in the mirror and think, oh, it's slightly there.
And you're feeling it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You're feeling
I
those
can
muscles working.
actually feel my butt hurt.
So we can lift as heavy as we want to lift and we can follow the program, but you're not going to grow a bum unless you do what?
Lift heavy.
other than lifting heavy, you've got to do something else in order to grow muscle.
I have to eat, and I have to eat protein.
You gotta eat your protein, girl.
It's the daily conversation.
So it's kind of, I feel like we should do another episode around food and our individual journeys with food, because that can be dived quite deep into. Yeah. The yo-yo dieting culture, the eating like a rabbit, the trying to be skinny and small, the undernourishing, the binge eating cycles and things like this. But actually you are getting better at eating more food, more substantial amount of protein throughout the day.
Your nagging is paying off.
My nagging. I don't nag. Okay, so let's move on to men, dating and hormones.
My favourite subject.
Men. Keep it clean. I don't know who the audience is. Okay. Do you feel, I don't want to put words in your mouth, do you feel like your cycle, your period cycle, your hormone cycle, impacts the way you feel about dating, about being around men, etc.? Feel free to talk.
Big time.
Okay, tell me.
Absolutely. Depending on what time of the month it is, I'm either like all for it, let's go out, let's have a great time, you know, and it's fantastic and I enjoy it and I have fun and I feel social.
Okay.
And then other times I'm like, if that guy comes anywhere near me, I'm going to punch him in the face.
And we're talking about the same guy. It could be the same guy.
The same guy, could be a different guy. One guy I could have a great conversation with, but if it's on the wrong day, I'm not interested. Why are you asking me that? It's none of your business.
Easily irritated.
Yeah. And it's so different at different times of the month. And then even if it's the same person, the way that I think about that person just completely changes.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm like, God, you are so annoying.
Or so fit. And so lovely.
So fit right now.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, we've had these conversations off the mic as well. How do you deal with that?
Just go with the flow.
Okay.
And I think you have to be conscious of it. It depends who the person is. And if it's just somebody who's like, I don't know, online dating or something like that, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I just won't talk to them. If it's somebody that I know, I think you do have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
But I'd probably just say, I'm hormonal.
Okay.
It's that time of the month.
And when you say I'm hormonal and it's that time of the month, do you think they understand what you're saying? And do you try and educate them further, or do you just leave it at that? Because we all know that I bang on about this stuff all the time. And if any man comes into my sphere of life, I will try and educate them on it. But I know that's not what everybody does.
No, it's not. It's not. I'd probably go into talking about you and saying that you work a lot around, you know, the women's wellness and whatnot. But
You wouldn't.
I just wouldn't. And I think that's the same for a lot of women.
Why wouldn't you educate them about it? I'm actually really interested. Why wouldn't you?
Because I probably honestly think, well, they're not interested in that. They don't want to hear about my period.
Okay.
I think that's a stigma thing or a taboo subject. And I think that's what we need to move away from. It's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But, you know, coming from the generation I do, that's still a thing. And I'm like, well, that guy doesn't want to hear about my period.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys are still weird about things like that or get the ick about it or things.
Yeah.
And
I dated a guy a few months ago and I was talking about my work and photo shoots and my upcoming art exhibition. And his reaction, he was actually older. And he was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. Men don't like that stuff. And I'm going to just be open on the podcast. He actually went as far as saying, I've got friends who find it really hard to have sex with their wives after seeing their wives give birth.
Oh, someone's told me that before.
And can you imagine how aggy I got in this conversation? I was really, really upset about this conversation. Anyway, coming back to you and educating men that we're dating, and you're saying you're not, but this is what we're trying to change. Somebody like me who works in this industry, what can I do to help you feel confident in having those conversations with a man?
I think it's just continually talking about it. And, you know, I understand, but I've learned so much through you already. Things that I didn't know or wouldn't be aware of, or I'd, you know, skim past it and be like, I think it's just constant awareness to enable you to have those conversations. I feel more comfortable having that conversation now than I ever have done before.
Okay.
So for me to even just turn around and say,
I'm hormonal.
no, I'm on my period. It's that time of the month.
Do you think you're just more sensitive emotionally, psychologically and physically when you're on your period? Talking about that time of the month. Because in my opinion, that time of the month, it's not always when I'm bleeding. It could be for me, you know, it's the 7 days before I start bleeding. I get the psychological symptoms actually worse than the physical symptoms.
Yeah.
So that time of the month, that phrase irritates my bones.
It's the whole month.
Because the whole month we're hormonal, and saying I'm hormonal, and I'm not picking at you here. It's again, it's awareness, and it's that conversation, and it's giving you more confidence to have the conversation. By saying to the guy I'm hormonal, does that mean I'm on my period? Because that's probably what they would assume. But actually, I'm hormonal when I'm ovulating because my hormones have changed. Yeah. I'm hormonal 3 days after ovulation. Scarlett jumps off a fucking cliff.
Really?
Horrendous, you know. Psychologically more than physically. And then 3 days before my bleed, it's the physical stuff starts kicking in for me. So there's different, that time of the month, like, what does that mean? Why would... I hate that phrase. And we need... I need to bully you into this. No, but we need to be more comfortable with... I did a talk at a summit the other day, 2 weeks ago. It was a menopause summit. The last panel there was a panel of men, and it was menopause for men too. And it was just really interesting. And this one guy on the panel, his closing line was he addressed the audience of women and said how it's a woman's duty to educate the men in their life about... Obviously, at this time, it was talking about menopause. But I also believe it's our duty to educate the men in our lives about our menstruation.
I agree.
They don't menstruate. They don't understand what it's like. And if we just, because we're uncomfortable talking about it, because society's made it taboo and we go, I'm just hormonal, it's that time of the month. That's not educating them. I'm not picking on you because I know it's many, many people feel uncomfortable talking about it.
It's actually amazing how much men don't know. So I was with some guy the other week, and the week before I'd been on my period. And he said, oh, you still bleeding? And I was like, how long it was 2 weeks later. I was like, how long do you think a period lasts? Like, and he was like, I don't know, I've never had one. I was like,
can I ask how old was this guy? Older than you?
40s.
In his 40s. So he's gone 40 years of life. He must have dated other women, had ex-girlfriends, da-da-da-da-da. And he doesn't know how long a period lasts. Like, it blows my mind.
And I was like, I'm not sure if you're joking or not.
Yeah, I get that. And so we can educate them through our conversations with them on a one-on-one basis, but on a bigger scheme of things, like what about at work? I know how much you suffer when you are bleeding. Would you feel comfortable with your male boss saying, I am drained, I feel like I might pass out, I'm exhausted, I need to take a nap, can I work from home today? Would you take a day off sick for that? Would you ask for a work from home day?
I would ask for a work from home day, but I probably wouldn't
explain
exactly why. I could tell them the symptoms that I'm having, but I wouldn't say it's because I'm on my period. I also don't know them well enough yet.
Do you think that's a cultural thing? Or do you think that's a you confidence thing? Or do you think that's a general society education thing?
General society, definitely.
That you just feel that they wouldn't understand.
Yeah, and I think a culture thing as well. I mean, obviously it's so diverse out here, and I'm still getting used to all the different cultures and things like that. It might have been different if I was in the UK.
What if you had a female boss?
Yeah, then I would say it.
So interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they would understand more. And this again goes back to the knowledge thing, where so many men don't understand how it works or what we have to go through. They think we're just moaning about it or whatever it might be. But if it was a female...
And it's not their fault that they haven't been educated on it. And it's not their fault that they don't have it. We're not blaming. This isn't a man-woman debate. There's nothing about this, like, masculinity, femininity. It's not about that. I'm an ex-teacher, and we're just trying to make the education spread and the conversation, keeping it open, right? But with a female boss, you would feel that she would get it.
Yeah.
Interesting, because some women go through their life without period pains, bloating. I mean, they just look bloody gorgeous all the time. It's infuriating.
Never going to be that person.
I've had a client who was in her 50s, and I said to her, are you on HRT? And she said, what's that? And I was like, how have you got this far through being a woman and menopause, having never even heard of it, let alone thinking about taking it or investigating it? My point is, some women maybe wouldn't understand because they think, well, I don't have that. And I'm speaking maybe from experience, because actually my periods never used to be that bad. And it's only within the last
The last couple of years.
3 years, they started to get worse. Maybe the last 18 months quite significantly, and the last 6 months like dramatically worse. Obviously that rolls in with my diagnosis of early onset menopause and things like that anyway. Okay, really interesting. So we've spoken about men, nutrition, training. Can you give us like one thing that you think has really changed the way you behave around your periods, your cycles and your PMS?
Oh God. One thing.
Like what's made it easier or better? Or
I would say it's not is anything that I do around that time, because I don't do anything different. I think it's my lifestyle in general.
I love that. There's so many conversations online about cycle syncing. So how you should change your training around your cycle. And some women do that, and they need to do that because we think we have bad periods. I mean, some women have way worse than us. Some don't. So changing your training around your period. When I was a competitive athlete, I'd never change anything because you can't pick and choose when your competition falls.
Yeah.
And you can't afford the time to keep not training when you're on your period. Some people change their food and think, obviously we're talking about how nutrition has helped you. And some people sync their food around their follicular phase in the first 2 weeks and their luteal phase in the second 2 weeks. But generally, for you, just changing your lifestyle for the better, more routine, more sleep, better sleep routine.
Yeah, it's better, way better sleep routine.
Like a sleep hygiene, we call it, like the sleep-wake cycle. You go to bed at consistent time, you wake up at consistent time, you have no lights in the room, those kind of like a cool temperature in the room. All of these things have really helped. Lowering your cortisol, which wasn't particularly something in your control at the time, but as time's gone on, you've been able to grasp more control over those circumstances. So sleep, nutrition, stress,
training.
What about your nervous system? You talked about meditation and yoga and your feeling and sense of safety and security. Do you think that's made a difference?
I think it's made a massive difference. I think, although it's been a roller coaster since I got here, I think it's having stability and routine and not feeling like I'm constantly in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Having made those changes to my life and being in a happier place.
Yeah.
Has just been an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
For everything, for all of it. Like my weight wouldn't drop for ages, and suddenly I started calming down a little bit and training consistently, and it started coming off.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't come off for a really long time because my cortisol levels were too high.
Yeah.
So I think all of those things put together and that lifestyle is really improving, especially as I get older.
And do you change, so you don't change your anything around your cycle, do you change your training?
I don't know, do I?
I, as your coach, would say you go with the flow. Excuse the pun. Some months you're like, no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I will just stick to the program. Other month you might be bleeding and you might be like, I'm going to come to the gym. I don't feel like I've got as much energy as normal. And perhaps you would eat an extra bit of carbs, a banana or something like that. But you might reduce the weights in the plan for that week. This week, we mentioned briefly earlier, has been a bad week. And actually you haven't been to the gym this week because it's been so heavy.
I didn't train. I didn't train yesterday because it was that heavy and just felt absolutely just drained of life.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that is okay.
And you're going to pick up where you left off on Monday and just continue. And that's really nice. And I really like that attitude of going with the flow. And perhaps I'm trying to take a leaf out of your book a little bit and try
teach you something.
I am trying to go with the flow, let go of routine and control, because obviously coming as a competitive athlete is all about control and it's all about routine and structure and following the program, regardless of how you feel. And so it's been really beautiful, to be able to coach you and help you and to see how it's impacted your life. And then to think, maybe I need to practice what I preach a little bit. And be a little bit more aligned with the values of my coaching ethos.
And I think that makes a drastic difference for you as well.
Yeah.
And I've seen that change in you.
Yeah. Closing note, obviously you are aware, because you see me doing it all the time at home, of my upcoming art exhibition, The Whole Woman Unveiled. Do you think that this is going to help educate the men in our society on the different hormonal phases throughout a woman's lifespan?
Not just men, but women as well. I mean, just watching you build this art exhibition and the different pieces that there's just ideas flowing every day. It's just so interesting. I have learned so much from it already, things that I didn't, wasn't really aware of, or just seeing it as a visual. And I think for women to understand their bodies better, but for men to understand what women go through and how they can support the women as well, and having that knowledge. I just think it's going to be absolute, it's going to be amazing. Educational piece, absolutely spot on.
Thank you. Do you think it's going to help open up those conversations? Like, if you were seeing a guy, would you be comfortable to come to the art exhibition and look at the pieces of art and read the placards next to each piece and have open conversations about this and relate it to you and your relationship and different times of your month? And be like, oh, do you remember when I was a bit snappy the other week? Well, this visual, maybe you can understand a little bit more.
You can understand it. Absolutely. And what I'm going to say here is, if I was seeing someone and I couldn't bring them to that event and read it and talk to them about it, then I wouldn't be seeing them.
Amazing. I absolutely love that closing line. That is brilliant. And so I think on that, we are going to call the podcast to an end. If you haven't already, please like the podcast, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend. You can find this if you're watching on YouTube, but you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Music. Stay tuned, because I have a whole long list of upcoming guests, men and women together. We're going to be talking about women's hormones, menstruation, menopause, perimenopause, postnatal, psychological symptoms, physical symptoms, and the whole broad spectrum, because I am on a mission to educate everybody about these topics that have been kept swept under the carpet, kept as taboo for far too long. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. And I will not shut up. I will right now. Anyway, so we'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for sharing some personal stories and some personal insights there. But I really do think that for the men listening, it's nice for them to just not hear it from me and my Instagram all the time. And I think the more women that share their stories, the more they think, oh, it's not just my wife, or it's not just my girlfriend, because she said it and she said it and she said it and she said it. And it makes it all a little bit more normal. So thank you. I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
And we'll have you back to talk about food and nutrition
soon.
Oh,
God.